So I just got into the office and it is now 11:19 in the morning, and I thought that on a day like today it would be fitting to show you guys a little bit about what the life of a self-employed entrepreneur, business person would look like on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of pros and cons when it comes to being self-employed, whether you're working from home or you just work for yourself. From the outside, it can look like it's all smiles and roses, but it's not always that case. There are benefits to being self-employed, but there are a lot of drawbacks as well. So one of the first positives that I want to talk about is, of course, it's 11:19 in the morning and I'm just getting into the office. So I've got that flexibility to make my own schedule, take care of the things that I need to during the morning, and come into work when the time is right. Now, what that also means is that I've got the freedom and the flexibility to make my own hours and not have the pay that I get tied directly to those hours. So for instance, a lot of people who are working 9 to 5 jobs or even just hourly wage work, you don't get paid unless you're there actually working. So whether you're working in retail or hospitality or you work in an office, typically you're getting paid for the hours that you're there putting in what you would consider work. Now, not every single hour of the time that you're there is actually going to be work, but that's the basis of it, right? You show up at, let's say, 9 o'clock, you work until lunch, you take a 1 hour lunch break, and then you work until 5 or 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock, and then you call it a day. So I know these schedules can kind of fluctuate, but you typically are getting paid for that time, and the benefit to that is that you're getting paid no matter what, as long as you show up, you're getting paid. As long as you're doing the work that you're supposed to be doing, you should be getting paid. As long as you're doing what's necessary to not get yourself fired, by just completely slacking off, you should be getting paid. And that is one of the benefits to working 9 to 5, but it's also one of the drawbacks. Your hours and your income are tied directly to each other. Whereas for somebody like myself, I'm in a position where I can set my own hours, I can create forms of lead generation through videos just like this, mostly here on YouTube, also through connecting with other people locally, friends, family, people that I just know through different hobbies, stuff like that. I can create relationships that are going to create me business, but are not necessarily directly tied to the hours that I put in. So it's one of those things where I could get lucky and create a connection right off the bat with somebody who will then refer somebody to me to sell them a house or to sell their house. And that may only be a half hour or an hour of time that I put into that. There's also a lot of times where I put in, numerous hours, tens, if not hundreds of hours into a project that may or may not produce any results. So there's always a trade-off there where I can put in a little time and get lucky and create something very valuable, in the form of a high income, or I can put in a lot of hours and not get anything out of it. So of course the name of the game is to maximize putting in as little as time as possible while also maximizing your income. Of course that's what you want to do, but trying things out and also being happy and fulfilled with the work that you're doing along the way is important as well. So I feel very grateful to be in a position where I can wake up and get a morning workout going. I can wake up, have a morning workout in my gym, or go to the actual gym and have a workout there, and do that. And it's not tied to the hours that I need to be at work at a specific time. I also feel grateful that I can go out and shovel snow, and be able to do that. Now, of course, that sucks. It's not the first thing I want to do, but I do have the flexibility to do that, and it's not going to hurt my income in the long run. Now, of course, I do try to be productive and as efficient as possible, so I try to, put in hours every single day and make sure that I'm getting those things done that are going to push my business forward. But I'm really fortunate to be in a position as somebody who's self-employed and in real estate sales to where I can put in hours, extra hours on another day, and have those hours continue to produce results. A big part of how I'm growing my real estate business is through YouTube. Now, I've got another YouTube channel that talks about everything about what it's like to live here in my area. And I get a lot of people who are relocating to my area reaching out to me saying that they want to buy a house. So I can create a video similar to this talking about the area that I live in, and it will produce results whether I'm working or not. People view that video at all times of the day. It's constantly getting views and it's constantly doing the work for me. So being able to put into place passive forms of, I would say, lead generation has been crucial for me in being able to grow my income and not have it be tied directly to the hours that I work. The other thing that's, I'm really grateful for is that I'm in a position where, man, today I was not feeling great. Over the weekend, my whole family got sick and we just kind of been down and out. And waking up this morning, I don't feel great. I don't want to be here. Um, but I know that if I want to push forward and I want to push, my goals to that next level and get to where I want to be, I have to be consistent. And that is one of the pros and one of the cons to being self-employed. I know that if I don't show up and continue to put in those hours of work, whether it produces results today or it produces results in 6 months, I know that I have to be consistent and do that every single day, or else I'm not going to get to where I want to be. So showing up on a day like this, there are no sick days. There are no days where I call in, and take a sick day and get paid time off. There's no vacation days. There's no getting paid for time when you're not working in this position. When you're self-employed, you are on the clock 24/7, and that can be detrimental to your income. It can be hard on your mental game, because you're always constantly thinking about work. You're constantly thinking about not dropping the ball for clients, and it can become a stress for you, but it's also a huge blessing. So that's the blessing that gives me the ability to take vacation whenever I want. It gives me the ability to leave early or come in late or do those things that are necessary in a sales position or in a self-employed business just like this. It gives you that flexibility, but I don't have the option to just call in sick and still get paid. I don't have the option to take vacation and still get paid. And really what that comes down to is I still have to show up every single day to make sure that I'm putting in the time to produce the results that I want. And that's just the reality of being self-employed. There are days where you put in a lot of work and you go home and you don't feel like you accomplished anything. There's other days where you might have 3 or 4 clients reach out to you in one day saying they want to buy a home, they want to sell a home, they want to do this, and it feels like a very fulfilling and accomplished day. And it just varies. There's always ups, there's always downs, but this is kind of what it's like to be self-employed and be somebody who's out here, doing this by themselves and trying to hustle to make it work instead of being stuck in an hourly or a salary job. It's really nice because if today is not focused 100% on working hours, I'm not going to fall behind in my business. So it's that fine line of staying consistent, continuing to put in work every single day, regardless of what happens, because I know that in 6 months I'm going to reap the rewards of that, but also knowing that, hey, I can come in late to work, I can stay late and still get the same amount of work done, and I get to make those hours and those decisions on my own terms. And I also do want to mention that it can be hard to look at somebody who's self-employed and just think that they've got it made, right? They've got the ability to create their own hours. They've got the ability to earn a high income. They've got the ability to take vacation days or take days off or work from home. They've got all of these benefits to being self-employed, and on the surface level it does look like that, but there's a lot of things that people don't look at as well when it comes to that. Working from home is difficult, especially if you got a family or if you've got kids. It can be hard having the distractions of being at home. It's very easy to go work from home and get distracted picking things up or cleaning this or having your kids or your spouse saying they need something, or just the distraction of, food in the kitchen. There's so many things that can be distracting when working from home. There's also, the thing about if I do take days off or vacation days, I'm not getting paid for that. I don't get paid unless I go in and go to work. There's also the downside of working by yourself. That's probably been one of the biggest and hardest things for me personally, is that I'm here working by myself 90% of the time. I don't get out and interact with other people except for clients. For the most part, I'm not around other people. I work in this office full of other business professionals, not even necessarily in the real estate space. Some are, but not everybody. But I'm here and just doing my own thing. So it's doing my own thing. I'm out with clients, and that's a professional setting, as opposed to friends or coworkers who you can go be around and have a good time with, right? You look forward to seeing them every single day. You create friendships, and it's a blast to be around them. I don't get that being self-employed, so it does take a little bit of an emotional and mental toll on you, and you have to toughen yourself up and get used to spending time alone, because like I said, 90% of the time I'm here alone. I'm here in my office making phone calls or talking to clients or working on projects, creating videos like this, editing, planning stuff out, putting things together, and it's all by myself. So that's one of the other things that a lot of people don't look at when it comes to being self-employed. So anyway, I thought that this would be a good glance into the life and the reality of what life is like for somebody who's self-employed. And just I wanted to talk about a couple of things, kind of rant here for a minute about what it's like being self-employed and being in this position. And I thought it was helpful for you. If you guys would drop a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your pros and cons are to being self-employed if you're in that position, or if you're not in that position, if you're working a 9 to 5 or you're working salary or hourly somewhere. I want to know what your thoughts are about this topic. And give me a thumbs up here on the video. If you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.